Hello, I'm Danielle Conley, and welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television with your host, Dr. Ralph Steele, providing the best financial literacy, investment, and generational wealth for your children, yourself, your family, and your business.
Welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television. I'm your host, Dr. Ralph Steele, on KAZQ Television 32. We're glad to have you today. We got a wonderful, exciting show today with a special, amazing person today, and just getting right to it. Today, I would just want to, our television audience, I want to just thank and welcome Dr. Tony Davis to our show today. Dr. Davis, welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television on KAZQ Television 32.
Hello, greetings there, Dr. Steele, my brother. How are you today?
I'm great, man. I'm here in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Mansfield, Texas area, about 80 degrees, and it is lovely.
Oh my goodness! And we need to send you a little this chill that we have out here in Orange County, California, man. We got a chill going on right now.
You can keep that chill. It's lovely here. It's just beautiful here. On my way to the studio here today, I was thinking it was just lovely. So, who is Dr. Tony Davis, and
Wow.
Where are you from?
Well, I was born and raised in a little town north of Jackson. Jackson's the capital. It's called Canton, Mississippi. I don't know if you heard of the gospel group, the Canton Spirituals.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's my homeboys there. Me and Cornelius, we was classmates in high school. So, yeah, that's my roots, man. Canton, Mississippi.
Canton, Mississippi. That's great. And now you're in the big California doing big and great things.
Yes, man. I've been in California. Oh, my goodness. I graduated in 82 from Canton High School. And I've been, man, from Florida I've been in California since the the late night. I say around 88.
Okay, that's great.
Up until this point.
Long time. And
yes.
Dr. Davis, we're glad to have you on our show. You had an amazing, what I would call, and there's no judgment here, but at all. But you had an amazing, major, what I would call a traumatic experience, and you have, if you will, kind of gotten past that, gotten through that. Tell our television audience a little bit about that, going back a little bit, so they will understand, because I think it's important as you tell your story and just live it. I think you're going to impact millions of people worldwide.
Yes. My story goes back. Let me start here about Hollywood. In the early 90s, I was in Hollywood, right? And I'm
right.
a gospel. Well,
I said right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I started off as an R&B singer, like many of us do, right? In the early 90s, I come from a praying family. My mom made us go to church growing up in Mississippi. You're going to go there every Sunday, no matter what, and sit in the front pew. So I had that kind of background of growing up in Mississippi. So we come to California. I came to California, and here, I pursued. I went to United College of Business, met some friends, started singing R&B. I started writing R&B songs, and I signed a record contract with Warner Brothers in the 90s.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I did some touring and some opening up some different acts, such as Bobby Brown and Isabel Sanford. I did some background, Nita Baker. And so I did those things. But I felt like, my life wasn't really going nowhere. I felt like it wasn't going in a direction that it should be going, and I felt empty on the inside.
Right. Even though for me, even not to cut you off, even though for me, it sounded like you had some religion, you had some church, you were saved, you were sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, you was on top of the world, and God was blessing you. But tell me more.
Yes. So I felt empty, man. I felt this void in my heart, right? And I remember going to these Hollywood parties. I remember going to, Mulholland Drive, all these, and I just got tired of that lifestyle, man. It just felt it felt bad. It didn't feel authentic, Then my mom was in my ears, stop singing that stuff and sing for the Lord. I'm like, okay, Mom, there's no money in that. You know, there's no money in singing gospel, you know? And it got to a point where I said, you know what? I got so empty. I'm like, man, this is not for me. You know, I need to feel that empty void. I need to change my life, you know, before something bad happened to me, you know, because I seen things happen to other folk and they was unhappy, you know, no rest, no sleep, no, you know, and some had money and still was unhappy. It was just empty, man. And so I remember coming down Mulholland Drive one night from a party, and I was flying, man, and I just pulled over to the side of the road and just started, because my car began to spin because I was going really fast. And I pulled over to the side and said, I gotta change this. I was raised better than this,
Right.
you know? And I made a conscious decision. You know what? I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna change. And so I made a conscious decision to move forward, and I just began to pray, and I seek God, and I emptied out myself, man, and I totally changed. And about in the around 90, I would say 97, I started rewriting my songs to gospel songs.
Wow.
And I totally changed my entire lifestyle. You know, I got married to my wife in Atlanta, Georgia, because I went to Atlanta for a while and came back to LA and just totally went full gospel. And I was gospel ever since,
Wow.
right? Up until 2003. I never forget. I was on fire for the Lord, man. I mean, I was real. I was doing like 4 and 5 church services a day around the LA area singing, because they turned a lot of liquor stores into storefront stores, storefront churches, you know, in the LA area. So,
right.
Man, I was booking myself all around to sing. I had my first album called Lord, I Thank You. It had those old traditional songs on there. And I remember, man, I just felt so good. I was on fire for God. Then all of a sudden, in the end of June 2003, I was on my way to pick up my wife from work. Had left my job. Mind you, I've never been in a gang, brother. Never even held a gun at this point in my life. I came from singing, right?
You was a good person.
Yes.
Crimeless. You was crimeless. You didn't.
No record. Never been in jail. I mean, just, you know what I mean? Just,
yeah. You didn't hurt or harm anybody.
Never.
You was too busy singing the gospel.
Yes.
Of the Lord.
Yes.
Doing the right thing.
Yes.
But Dr. David, do you think though that people, all of us as human beings, have a particular journey or path that we have to take or go through, regardless of what the situation is?
Dr. Steele, that is so true, man. You know, the Bible said that it rains on the just as well as the unjust. No matter who you are, what side of the fence you're on, you're going to have some rainy, bad days. So
right.
It's about how are you going to deal and handle those days.
Right. Yeah, my position is how you begin to cope with it, how you deal with it, and then ultimately, how do you heal from it? I'm talking about the stuff that that none of us, regardless of who we are, none of us want to deal with, cope with, or even have to even experience. But you end up experiencing what?
I ended up experiencing being a victim of gang violence, gang initiation.
Wow. I can't even imagine, Dr. Davis, I can't even imagine that. And I was in the military, I was in the service, and so I was in some situations that I won't go into, but I can't imagine, but that was because I was in the service versus just somebody, you know what I mean, coming up and victimizing me.
Wow.
But can you tell us, and I don't mean to ask you any question that you don't feel comfortable in answering, or you know what I mean, but can you tell us just a little bit more about what actually happened in this situation, if you feel comfortable in doing that?
Oh, yes, I'm an open book for that, you know, because I want to encourage somebody else, you know. And again, in 2003, the end of June, I was on my way. I had left my job in LA. I had worked with special needs clients. I loved my job, man. I had a great job, worked with my special needs. And I had left my job. I was a supervisor, and I was on my way to pick up my wife from work at her job. She worked at a boarding care with special needs as well. We loved working with special needs during that time. Out of nowhere, man, I was attacked by a gang members in Los Angeles, and unknowingly that they was initiating in this certain area of LA. And they shot me 5 times, 10 holes in my body.
Wow.
Yeah. I laid in the ground on that ground, and I bled to death. And I was told by the doctors that I died for 30 minutes.
Wow. But obviously, something happened, and you made it through that. You lived through it. You're still living. You're walking and talking today.
Yes.
You are an example of somebody who, in my opinion, being shot 5 times. I can't even imagine that, and most people cannot. Especially if I grew up in the country in a nice, almost zero crime. Even today, when I see people get shot and stuff, it's foreign to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand living in America and having crime. So that's not so for me, how do you get past? If tell our television audience today, how do you get past having someone do that horrible thing? Horrific thing to you, and now you look like ain't nothing never happened to you. You look like you just got off the jet airplane and walked out your mansion.
Oh my. Amen, brother. Thank God for mercy and grace.
God has mercy and grace, huh?
He did on my life, man. And I truly believe it's because I had changed my ways. I had changed from so many sinful ways in LA how people did the drinking and the smoking. I didn't do heavy drugs, but I did a little, weed and things like that. So my lifestyle, and then all the ladies and stuff like that, so my lifestyle was not good back then as far as that is concerned. But I didn't do no off the wall crazy shooting people or crazy stuff or selling drugs. I didn't do none of that stuff.
You did the little sin stuff, right?
Yeah, I know sin is sin, but yeah, I did sin. Yeah, I don't want to think I'm squeaky clean because but anyway, man, I 5 shots, 10 holes, and I died. Right.
Wow.
And the only way I had an out of body experience when I died. I went to heaven, and I spoke with God, and God said, "It's not yet your time. Go back. There's a message I need you to deliver to my people."
Wow.
And he told me a message of forgiveness, man. Forgiveness.
Forgiveness?
Yes.
Wow. Do you believe that human beings are saints and sinners at the same time?
Well, the Bible says that there's no good thing that dwells in our flesh, right? So I just believe that, the Bible says we must kill flesh daily. So we wrestle with sinful things because of what the enemy the devil presents in front of us, man. And, when how the flesh is nothing good dwells. So anything crazy or something that's enticing to us, the flesh don't want it, man. And I was talking to a friend yesterday about the people have gotten confused saying money is evil. Money is not evil. The Bible said the love of money is the root.
Listen, I like what you said because I had somebody say that to me, and they said, "Dr. Steele, money is evil." And I said, "Why you keep spending it then?" You understand what I'm saying? Anything can be evil. Is not. It's how we deal with and manage things in a most, I would say, positive manner, where we need it and to use it in the right perspective. Now that's my thinking. What is that? So that brings me to my question that I believe one of the viewers had asked me pre-question was, how did you come, you say you made a movie, how did you come to deal with these people, gangsters who shot you You said 5 times?
Yes, 10 bullet holes in and out.
10 bullet holes. How
Yes.
did you grow or deal with or develop a mindset and a spirit of forgiving these kind of people? Tell our television, for me, that's important.
Dr. Steele, it was so difficult, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I remember when I came back to life, I heard a blow and I came back to life. My hands were going through clouds. I mean, heaven was so beautiful, man. Let me just say that. Heaven, man, I saw colors I've never seen on earth before. I felt love beyond this world, man. I felt peace and I wanted to stay there. But God said, I need you to deliver a message to my people. So he sent me back. And I remember when I was in that, they put me in an amputation room, right?
Right.
Because what happened was one of the bullets shattered it's called a femoral artery in your left leg. And that's how I bled to death. One of the bullets shattered that artery. So when I died, the doctors cut my throat right here, and they mistakenly cut a piece of my vocal cord because they was trying to get air in my lungs because I was dead for too long, is what they told me. And they thought I was going to have brain damage and all those things. So anyway, I don't supposed to be able to talk anymore because they was going to put a box on the side of my throat. But at 12 o'clock midnight, when I was talking to God they was about to amputate my left leg, and they was going to put a box there. And God came in that room, man. This is a true story. I know it sounds weird. And he said one word. He said, forgive. Forgive. He said, if you forgive, I'll make you whole. Man, I wrestled with that thing. It was horrific. Forgiving. And I had this tube in my throat and bleeding around my throat. And then I had to say, forgive. Look what they did to me. God, I never shot anybody. He said, if you forgive, I will make you whole.
Wow.
Man.
I've never been to heaven. I've never been shot. I've never died and come back. You have an amazing story. Now, like you say, some people would say, Dr. Tony, you crazy.
Yes.
That ain't true. Why are you saying this? Now,
Right.
I believe you because I don't see where you would. Wait a minute. Let me ask you this question. Has anybody paid you to tell me that today?
Oh no.
If
no,
you do, at least give me a percentage of it. You know
they
what I
don't
mean?
have enough money for me to lie.
Give me a
way,
percentage
yeah.
of it. But
Yes.
I believe you. Things happen. I believe that we're living in an imaginable world, creative world, and all kinds of things can happen. And some of them are, as your story is, very, you can say mysterious, you can say very spiritually mysterious, you can say that they're amazing. You can say that. But say just a little bit more, how did you actually say, wait a minute, Lord, and you said God spoke to you, but you heard it, but how did you transition from hearing God say, forgive and I'll make you whole, to actually coming to the decision, both psychologically, mentally, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and forgive these people? How did you do that?
Well, forgiveness is not a feeling, man. Forgiveness is a choice. And you have to choose to forgive, because you're not going to feel like forgiving someone that has did some wrong to you, especially what they did to me. Those guys didn't even know my name. They were young gang members.
Wow.
And they chose to kill me to be a part of a gang.
That's crazy.
So guess what? What I did, like you said, God healed me. And I said, give me the strength, God. I'm going to change the lives of millions of young people and people in plain, no matter who they are. Encourage them about what you have in store for your people if you just show me the way and open up the doors, right? So guess what God did? And I know this is crazy. I didn't even tell my wife. 3 months later, when I was at the hospital, I went back over there. I went back over there to the place where those gang members was.
Wow.
Because I wanted to share heaven with them. I want to share what they're doing to their community, what you're doing to innocent people.
That's right.
That don't deserve what you're doing.
And I would have been scared to go anywhere near that place. If truth be known, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd have been scared to go And even if I went there today, I still might be scared. I wasn't the one that got shot.
Right.
But I
But
mean,
like,
so now, as a result of that, you've written a book, you made a movie, and tell us about your movie, a little bit about your movie.
yeah, the title of my film is I Forgive.
I
I, I
Forgive.
I forgive,
Wow.
man. Yeah. I did just those two words that God told me. I forgive.
Yeah.
And I was so glad to have Academy Award winner Lou Gossett Jr. Lou Gossett did the voice of God within the film. Did a great
Wow.
job.
Outstanding.
And the film has a powerful message of forgiveness, man. It shows where, those and I'm not glorifying in this, but those same guys that killed me, I found out through the police department and through others that they was all killed by another gang.
Wow.
So sometimes the Bible said when you live by the sword, you sometimes
You
will
die
die by
by
that
it.
same sword. So I just believe that God knew the heart of those young people, man. And he know that there was no change going to be there. So God took his hand, he takes his hand from around us. Say, okay, do
Right.
you? And I just believe that the devil came in and said, okay, it's payday. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Not only that, I mean, violence only breeds violence.
Exactly.
It doesn't, there's nothing good that comes out of it. And people don't understand that one of the greatest tool that all of us as human beings have is the ability to sit down and have an intellectual conversation
So true.
between two or more or however people and come to, in my opinion, and you tell me you're forgiven, you can tell me a peaceful resolution. Would you say, would you agree with that?
You are totally 100% correct, man. To sit down and talk to people just to, one-on-one. Since my incident, I've gone, I do a lot of outreach, right?
Right.
I go to Skid Row, I go to juvenile hall, and I talk to like 500 young men and 500 young ladies. They bring them in differently. And I've
Right.
had discussions about, why are you doing certain things in your community to destroy the place that you live, that you
That's
dwell?
right.
The people that you supposedly care about. I suppose I was your brother or your uncle or someone that you love being shot for no reason because you want to be a part of something that doesn't even love you.
Exactly.
And I explained to them, and one young kid said, wow, you saw God. And I explained to him that you can't see God because God is spirit, but you can feel his presence. It's almost like wind blowing across your skin.
Correct.
And it was like, wow. And you know what, man, I need to change. God gave you another chance. I said, yes. And he'll do the same for you. But you
Right.
got to change, man. You
Or
got to change.
Dr. David, like electricity, you can't see it, but don't you dare touch it. And I
That's
don't
right.
mean you personally, but don't touch it. You know what I mean? Don't grab onto it, especially if it's too many volts. Might be it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's amazing.
That's right.
But you also have a book called Heaven is Real. How did you come to write a book about it as well?
Wow, man. I did my book before the film. I did the book around 2005 when I was doing this Stop the Violence with Tony Davis tour
Right.
around the country. And I just sat down and began to just write that book, man. It goes back from me being born and raised in Mississippi, how my mom took us to church. It goes to my singing group DDT and my life through all, R&B and how my life changed all the way through, until, I finally just gave totally to God, and singing gospel. So it tells the entire story about childhood to adulthood in my book.
Wow.
Heaven is Real.
Wow.
Talks about heaven too. I share a
Wow.
little bit about the glimpse of heaven that I saw.
Wow. That's amazing. You have had a full life in spite of the difficulty and the challenge that you faced with, but then been able to get past it, come out, write a book, forgive the people, make a movie about it, now sharing about it, now trying to bring happiness, joy, healing, and peace to other people today. What else more are you going to do, Doc? Man, you're doing a lot of stuff. I congratulate you.
Thank you, brother. I'm just on this quest until God says well done, and I go home again.
Right.
I just want to encourage people. I want to let them know that heaven is a real place, and don't give up. I know it gets difficult in our well doing. We get tired of being tired. I do too. Sometimes I sat and I miss heaven so much, man,
Wow.
because of the peace and the love that I felt beyond this world. God says in the word that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the
That's
things
right.
that God has for us. And it's a real place, man. I don't care about no streets of gold. All I know is the presence of God
Right.
was beyond this world, man.
It has to. Would you say it is, since you've been, I haven't been there, would you say it's better than here where we are, right? It's got to be better than the world we live in with all of the crime and
Yeah.
violence and crazy stuff that's going on.
Yes, man. And just think about being in a place where no more worry. You don't have to worry about cancer or sugar diabetes or disease. Everything is not there that's of no good. I mean,
Exactly.
not even the enemy can touch you there,
Right.
Because remember, the Bible said, Jesus said, I'm going to prepare.
A
And that
place for
place
you.
is it's a personal thing for me to you. It's personal. That's between you and the Creator.
Right.
And I believe that if you just change and just trust God, and I'm not saying you don't have to be holier than thou. It's not about all that.
No,
It's
it's
not a.
not.
It's not about a being. I guess they say having this religious spirit. I don't. I hate those things.
Right.
But it's just a relationship, man,
Yeah.
and
But
being sincere.
not to cut you off, because we're running out of time,
Yes.
tell 3 quick things that people who are going to see you, they're going to see you nationwide. Tell them 3 quick things how you people can, what they can do to help them forgive and heal. 3 things that might come to your mind.
Okay. The first thing is not your fault.
All right?
I know you said, well, maybe I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yes, the bottom line is not your fault. The
2,
enemy has a mark on your back to do whatever he's going to do to you, but it depends. It's up to you to come
right.
out the best way that you know how.
What's number 2?
And number 2 is to trust God beyond what you feel or you see.
Right. Number 3.
And number 3, walk in faith and not by sight, man.
Wow. Listen, give your number how you can be contacted, because folks really need to call you. Give your
Okay.
number
Yes,
that you're
they can
comfortable
reach
with
me.
giving.
Yes, they can reach me at the office at area code 323-332-7920.
Listen, folks, thank you for watching our show, KAZQ TV 32. Thank you. Have a great day.